gun here. We've got a couple bands for each, or a couple picks for each team, and it looks like.
Yeah, so let's starting things off. It seems as though SMG, they do have the top seed. They can choose between first pick, second pick. SMG is taking first pick, first ban, and they have opted to ban Zeratul.
Zeratul, okay.
Yep, and Glorious will counter ban Tychus, starting things off.
So Tychus, not uncommon at all. Zeratul, not the most common, but they don't want to worry about that Void Prison. It is a really strong thing, and they know that Glaurung has a very strong Zeratul, and they don't want to even think about it. They're saying, look, VP with you. We've seen VP steal golems on this map. We've seen VP steal tributes. We've seen it do a lot of crazy stuff, and just team fights in general. It can save a lot of people. So Zeratul, Tychus are the bans here, and then the first pick
we have Avala for SMG. Following that, we have Falstad and Nazebo, the hot pick here. It seems as though in the last 2 weeks or so. After that, we see SMG countering with Tassadar and Stitches. He's a very common pick on this map, especially because of the tight corners and everything. Also, a good opportunity to stun out Nazebo out of the Ravenous Spirit. I'm sure that he's going to go into a slam build. It looks as though Dreadnought will be playing Stitches. He's probably going to go into a slam build. He's going to take, I think it's Pulverize at level 16, which stuns on the slam. They're going to take the increased range, etc. You also have the hook to deal with Ravenous Spirit as well.
I mean, it's looking pretty standard meta that we've seen the last couple of weeks, but it's still some scary stuff. And we saw Kerrigan bans multiple times coming out of Glorious, or excuse me, coming out of Wildfire. Wildfire was worried about the Kerrigan, and Glorious isn't worried about it, but we actually see Symbiote going with Kerrigan.
And what is this? Arthas is picked third? What world are we living in right now? Arthas is a very strong hero. But he seems to have been picked up third by Glorious here, followed by Brightwing. On the other side of the picks, we see Kerrigan and Malf, like you were saying. Malf seems more often than not SMG, at least in the past tournament, Kings of the Storm Weekly. Last week, every game that we casted of SMG, they grabbed Malf.
Did you just call him Malf and not call him Mad Furion?
Mad Furion? My apologies, Jake.
Jeez. But we can see that we do have the 5 rosters for each team locked in here. Now, the middle spinning circle is a bug here in the Alpha of Heroes of the Storm, as this is not an official draft client by any means. Draft client supposedly coming January 13th with the beta. Now, if you're not in Heroes of the Storm, it's your first time ever watching Heroes of the Storm, sign up for that beta because it is starting on the 13th. And we can see on the Symbiote side, we have Stitches, Malfurion, Kerrigan, Tassadar, Vala.
And on the Glorious side, we have Falstad, Nazebo, Arthas, Brightwing, and Chen. So they're going with the double warrior again, Chen, Arthas. And also, something that we didn't see at all in the previous matches, Tassadar. It was a common pick that was picked up previous tournaments. We saw Tassadar frequently first, second pick. Not picked at all, and in this situation, he is second pick for SMG. So it seems as though SMG still values Tassadar.
Yeah.
And Glorious, they don't seem to care. Wildfire didn't really seem to care much for Tassadar, so he's a very utility hero. He's listed as a support, but you can obviously play him damage. Well, not necessarily obviously, but that's just sort of how he's built more often than not in the current meta. So oftentimes teams will take him just sort of to get that extra DPS with Archon. It's a very strong heroic ability, but perhaps we're seeing a bit of a shift in the meta where Tassadar isn't so highly sought after.
Yeah, I mean, on Cursed Hollow, it's surprising to not see him here just because of how good he is. I mean, we do have him. I looked at my screen. He's missing there. So we do have Tassadar. Yeah. I would be surprised to not see him because he's so good at zoning out and stalling that tribute. And we've seen those styles where you just stall the tribute while they have 3 or 4 members. Maybe they're not soaking a lane fully, and you stall at the tribute as long as you can with Tassadar while you continue to get an advantage in a lane and maybe even push out a lane. It looks like the game is in fact starting here. Cursed Hollow Game 1, Round 2, Symbiote Gaming versus Glorious.
Going into it, like I said, Cursed Hollow, so we did see quite a few picks that were picked just for this map, and I don't know if you just mentioned that, but Tassadar gets the extra range on his Side Storm, so he gets the extra ability to stall out those tributes with the range on the Side Storm. Also, he's got the Oracle, so there's a lot of opportunities to party bush in this map. That's a nice asset to have. So we'll have to see how all these things play together moving forward into this game. Number 1, Round 2.
Look at that red carpet. Oh. And on the other half, we have a blue carpet. Who's playing here? Who's walking down that blue carpet?
Yeah, who is walking down that carpet? We have Symbiote Gaming, SMG. Okay, so we have Dreadnought on Stitches, KO on Tassadar, Soldier on Kerrigan, Mad Furion, Mad Timmy on Malfurion.
Look at that skin.
Arthlon on Vala.
Look at that skin. He's so scary. Is that the Betrayer himself?
That
the
is.
Lemon Lime Betrayer skin just added this week. And, of course, Vala here with their Money Pigs, of course. Yep. Well, on the other half of the map, we do have Glorious playing once again on stream. Glowring will be playing on Chen, Stormset, and Nazebo being played by Syracuse himself, Nirek on Brightwing, ZPs playing as Arthas, and Falstad by Cthon Luck.
No crazy talents taken first round. We do have the double bribe available to Glorious. So this, while they have a tribute being taken top, they might be able to quickly go over and take their knights if they have 50 or 40 stacks at least caught up on both players. So we may see that come into effect because they have the high mobility. Brightwing can, of course, teleport to any player on the map. I think, what's the cooldown? Is that 30, 45 seconds?
45 seconds.
45 seconds.
It used to be 30 seconds.
Okay.
Once upon a time, back in the glorious days of Brightwing's bright life cycle, I suppose.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't know where I was going with that. Well, middle lane we have the soldier. We have the hook going down. Now we have
if the soldier had landed that, that probably would have ended in Cthon Luck's death there.
For sure. But nice attempt. Nice attempt. Now, of course, all three lanes being so Glowring, not going to be taking any damage. Just going to brew all day. Just full rotation. Right. Just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Top lane though, we have the spiders actually giving vision.
Full Roman gank style here. I kind of like this. Although they have 3 people on this top lane, so I'm not sure if anything's going to happen.
Now, Symbiote's a team that we've cast before we get the minion. A team that we've cast time and time again, and Stitches is a very rare pick.
That's true. That's a good point to talk about. We don't see Dreadnought playing Stitches too often on this map. Of course, they're typically their warrior player. So I'm sure he's more than capable of running these solid Stitches. But you're right. It's something we don't see too often.
Now, what I want to say here is I really don't think we're going to see Gorge. I think we're going to see Putrid Bile.
Yeah.
And especially looking at like Kerrigan, and you've got Vala, you want to protect that strafe. You get people locked down in that Putrid Bile, and you just have the strafe and the Kerrigan just kind of going to town on you. That's a bad time. That's a bad time.
It's true. It's true. So that's that's something to look forward to. I would love to see them take Putrid Bile. I especially like it on this map. Just because of the small corridors. Yeah, we saw Maelstrom kind of be the first one to really use that a lot in this patch at least. And we saw great use out of it against SMG in the last 2 weeks ago in Kings of the Storm. Right. So typically we will notice that SMG gives up these tributes. At least 2 tournaments ago that was their game plan. We saw a bit of a change. Pretty nice hook onto CPs, but Arthas is not really the target you want to grab.
Not at all.
So we see him pretty much escape unscathed. SMG is giving some representation to this tribute here. We see soaking going on in bottom and mid lane.
I mean, this is just like the last series. We're seeing three at the tribute, and then the lanes being soaked. I mean, it seems like the meta has stabilized. People understand how to really maximize the efficiency on the soaking, because with the changes they made to the experience on the minions, all the teams are kind of like, well, how do we play this best? Right. And it seems like the meta has, based on these 2 games at least on Cursed Hollow. Okay, so there we saw KO rotate up. He was the Tassadar soaking mid lane, rotated up to just provide a little bit more pressure. Oh, no, nice attempt. Nice attempt, but Cthon gets out. Tassadar rotated up to provide some pressure to take that tribute, and as you can see, there's a slight bit of an experience lead for Glorious going into the mid to or early to mid game here. This is because they were able to soak that lane quite a bit better. Creeps give quite a bit more experience moving into this patch, so we can see teams start to prioritize that a little bit over taking the tribute. But at the same time, I mean, they got a lot of damage here, so they have the experience lead. They got the damage dealt, but Glorious has that, or the Symbiote has that first tribute, and they were looking for the hook. They're looking for that gank, but they're opting not for it, as we see. I'm curious what their plan is if they get the hook. Like, how are they? I mean, Soldier wasn't anywhere nearby at the time, so I was, maybe just to displace them, scare them a little bit, but they weren't going to get a kill out of that. No, they definitely were not. Well, we see Symbiote is actually rotating down, Hessel remaining in the middle lane, Vala still at the bottom, Malfurion at the top. Don't know if they just want to leave Mad Timmy there, because it's really, really hard. I mean, okay, they're actually giving this up, so Symbiote's going to get the second tribute for free. They exchanged knights on their side. They gave up a little bit. Levels have evened out a good bit going into level 8 or so no team has an advantage there, with the exception that Symbiote is up 2 tributes to 0 for the time being. And SMG is going to counter by taking their own knights. Counter knight play, nice and smart, but this tower getting, I mean, the pressure here from both a Brightwing and a Nazebo, a very common pair to see together. They're just going to pressure this tower is like really hard, especially with ZPs here. I mean, they're going to get a lot of damage done. Though. They are going to have to react to this. We should see them moving up to the top lane. Going to try to get the hook here and Chthon Luck, but I think he's too far out of range at this point.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, he's going very
Didn't guess Fragile. That's kind of a 50-50 situation. He's going to go to the left or the right.
But look at the Dread, trusting Soldier to potentially get it, threw the hook out anyways, because if he was pulled in, he would have been stunned right there. The hook would have hit it. So the synergy there was there, but the initiation was not as successful.
So we just see a Tribute spawning in the bottom area. And of course, going into this Glorious has a little bit of an advantage experience-wise that they did. It looks as though SMG is catching up in that respect, trying to get a pick on ZPs there. They're sort of zoning them out for this Tribute, although 2 members of Glorious are bottom. They are ready. Moving forward.
Oh my goodness, the hook there at the very end, hitting Nirak just before he was able to cap the Tribute. Level 9, 10 is almost here for Symbiote. They're very, very close. They hit 10 immediately. Now they're going to get very aggressive as they know that there's no Panda Pals available here. They get the kill on Chen. This Tribute is going to be a curse for Symbiote because there's actually just no way they can contest without ZP's Panda Pals.
Jake, I'm sorry, your clairvoyance. It was not correct this time.
It was not.
They did take Gorge, or Dreadnought took Gorge.
Oh,
so
man.
Values that a little bit more. We see Strafe. Tranquility, this is a very common theme for Mad Fury in here. He's going to take Tranquility, and we've seen him time and time again taking Ice Block at level 13 to make himself invulnerable while he has the healing field around him.
One thing I want to point out is, like, I like the fact that SMG's been running a lot of Malfurion for a few reasons. Malfurion pairs really well with Nazebo, so if you have Nazebo, great. If you don't have Nazebo, keep him away from Nazebo.
Right.
Alternatively, if Ravenous Spirit's doing so much work to you, if you can kind of heal through it with Tranquility, it makes a big difference. I mean, it doesn't do as much healing as damage, but it really helps sustain it and gives you a little bit of additional time to deal with that Nazebo. So I think it's a really smart play.
Yeah. That's a good point. And we've seen quite a bit of success out of Malfurion. Also, they, more often than not, will take Malfurion last in their draft picks, so keep an eye on that as the games move forward. And they do this because... Oh, is he going to be out of position here? Does he able to...
He's going to be really close to Earth-1! My God!
I was surprised that Dread didn't decide to hook a little bit sooner. But it's a guess. They don't know that he's hearthing in that exact position. But
well, they're going to just keep pushing with their curse here. I mean, the bottom lane is pushed back to fall here, taking a lot of damage on that fort. And this top wall is going to fall here, giving that 400 XP per tower to Symbiote as they have a 1-level lead at this point.
So they weren't able to get a huge amount down. They were able to get 1 fort, and there's really no point in taking this fight. Dreadnought tries to get a hook magically through the wall, but of course anything that has an HP bar on it will block the hooks.
Soldiers in a rough spot here. The shotgun are doing a ton of damage, and the Flying Kick is actually going to secure the kill. The Ravenous Spirit going down. This double tank composition with the Nazebo is going to be really scary on the side of Glorious here. Now SMG, they do have a nice front line, but I mean, let's just look at the zoning. Now that they're 10, 2 tanks and Emerald Wind, like, you're talking Arthas Chen. That's actually just terrifying.
It's going to be tough, and the damage output they have is... It's okay. I mean, Kerrigan is really more for displacing and stunning. Vala does good damage, and Tassadar does pretty good damage, but it's not going to compare to Nazebo Falstad with...
Wow.
So they have the tankiness, they have the healing and the damage output, so it's going to be tough.
Army of the Dead is down, so ZP's is on full aggression here as he has a lot of sustain available for him. I believe Panda Pals is available here. No, I'm not sure if the cooldown's bugged on the screen. It looks like it's available. Emerald Wind going down, pushing them back here. Panda Pals does go off, so it's going to be okay there. Strafe is getting a lot of work then as the stuns are no longer going to be ready, and we see the Tranquility is healing them up a lot, but ZP's no longer has Army of the Dead, and they know this.
Yep, and they're going to be able to lock him down if he gets too far ahead, which isn't going to happen.
1, 2 kills. 2 kills here for SMG. 3 down. They lost no one.
Yeah, why not? They got a positional advantage here. They have more heroes up. They can take the aggressive golem.
The fact that the fight started off with Army of the Dead, the fact that Arthas had to use that to get topped off to engage was like already just SMG saying like, okay, well, you're not going to have that. We're going to wait till that wears off. We're going to put our focus otherwise. They force Panda Pals to pop, and then they just clean up Arthas.
Yeah, it worked out beautifully for them. So that was a very nice fight taken by SMG. Stitches also took Tenderizer at level 7, which is auto attack steal, 25% slow for 1 second. That was something that really helped them to secure that kill on Arthas. He probably wasn't going to get out anyway given the hook, but if you saw him moving really slowly trying to escape there, that's why, because Stitches has that Tenderizer talent.
That's very cool for sure, and it's going to really pay off here as they do have a lot of potential to get that extra stun on the Nazebo because they need it. They really need the disruption. They do have Kerrigan. She's very good for dealing with the Nazebo. But
Glorious going to let a double golem go the way of SMG. No, they are getting aggressive.
Yeah, the Gorge goes down on the Chthon Luck here. The Revenant Spirit gets interrupted almost immediately by Soldier. Shock and Arc going down, doing a lot of damage, but Chthon Luck and Syracuse are both going to fall. The actual, was that the Bile that killed him? I don't know sure what killed him at the last second there. Glaurung, does he have Panda Pals available? Does not. He's going to fall. ZP's backs up. Last man standing. Where's Brightwing? Oh, she does.
He had 2 seconds for his Panda Pals to come up. I think it was just stalling just long enough, and it wasn't enough there.
That's so unfortunate. Well, you know, it's not looking too good for Glorious right now. Another Golem going to go in favor of SMG. That bottom fort will fall just to the Golem itself.
Right. They're probably going to rotate up, take Knights. They can really just control the map at this point. They may even get aggressive and take their own, the enemy's Knights. We can see Stitches is rotating back to take their Giants. So they're just going to take a very passive approach here and just control the map.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, all that they're not going to get is the Knights. So these Knights will, in fact, go to Glorious. Little small win for them, but the Giants and the Knights here on the blue side of the map will be picked up by Symbiote Gaming.
So we see the buffed Tangling Roots from Malfurion at level 16. Jake, how do you feel about that?
It's an increased width and duration on the roots. I think it's a really, really smart play, especially when you're fighting in these passageways where you can root pretty much this much area. Like, it's so much space. You can lock this down. I mean, there's so many points where it's just like a pivotal thing in a battle when you can lock it down. You're fighting over tributes.
Sure.
And you have to worry about your Kerrigan. And when you want to get your Kerrigan into the back lines to secure a kill or secure a disruption onto Nazebo, you don't want to throw Kerrigan away at the same time. So giving that root is almost like a buffer for Kerrigan.
Yep, I hear you. Okay, so we do see this Golem is pushing really, really hard bottom lane. We were talking about it taking that fort for free, and that is the case, and they're going to be pushing with it to try and secure that bottom keep. Chthon Luck is in position to take that tribute.
But they're going to trade a keep out for this, and losing a keep by not having their Brightwing Falstad available for this fight. I mean, Brightwing can phase shift right away. She's here at the last second. Doesn't matter. Falstad's not there. They can't even contest. So what'd they get? Their first tribute of the game to lose a keep? I don't agree with that play. Even if you're down,
if it was a critical tribute, you know, perhaps one of the teams is going to go into curse from that one. I can understand it, maybe, but that's a position you. As soon as you lose that keep, that's a permanent
for the whole game
catapult.
This is
pushing
not League
down
of Legends.
that lane.
Your inhibitors do not respawn. Not a possibility. Apologies for making that green box. My mouse is acting weird today, but we see that in this top lane we're having a party bush. They're waiting, saying, hey, look, if you want to come up here to try to take anything, well, there's nothing to take. Not sure what they're hoping for, honestly.
Yeah, there's still 1 minute and 40 seconds for that Golem. They just had a read on the situation. They thought that SMG was going to rotate up.
They want 16, so they're not going to engage.
Right.
Glorious is saying, look, we're terrified of fighting you without our level 16
power. And we see SMG is moving in. They might be going. Okay, they're just gonna safely take the.
I love this.
Keep here.
This is open.
Yeah, they don't
Let's
care.
get the keep. Don't need the wall. We'll get our catapults pushing down the middle lane too, and they don't even get the fort. They don't even get the fort. They have to back up.
Yeah,
they tried to get 16. They're still not 16.
That didn't go the way they wanted it to, of course. Now, like about a month ago, that situation they probably would have lost the game. Glorious would have. That was the situation where SMG says, "All right, we're going for the throat. We're just gonna take the core here and zerg it down." Not the case here. They just sort of changed their strategy up a little bit. Let's just take a keep. And it worked out beautifully for them.
You know, Dreadnought is the shot caller on the team, and he has a golden money pig. The rest of the team has pink money pigs. This is something I just noticed. Anyways, oh my goodness, ZP's is going to get taken out here. He gets gorged. Army of the Dead's not going to be enough to save him. The root, spin him out on my lawn, as we like to say, when you use the Stitches Malfurion combo there. It's such a strong pair because you spin them into the root, and they're just locked down. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to die.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It was the right call for Glorious to just back up as soon as he got hooked and gorged. They were like, all right, we don't really want any of that. But it seemed kind of silly at the time, but they're just going to lose people if they try to save Arthas in that situation. So unfortunately, it is the right call for Glorious there. They had to just give that one up. Just try to play defense for a little bit until Arthas comes back up from his respawn timer.
Well, tribute's up now, and one more tribute means a curse here for Glorious. Now, when you curse them, their minions, they are just completely irrelevant.
They have 1 HP.
1 HP. 1 HP.
Forward, and none of the towers and keeps, they do not fire any of their ammunition off, so it gives you quite a bit of pushing power. It's not going to be as impactful as you would think. This is almost more of a denial than anything else. Because they only have the 1 keep up left, that's really all you're going to get.
What they want to get, I mean, they'll probably take the Golem. Typically, you won't actually see SMG grab the Golem after getting a curse because it's like kind of wasteful. But the reason they're going to get this Golem is because they have the other 2 keeps down, down, and this gives them the opportunity for a death push. Right. They're going to take this golem, they're going to push down the top lane, they're going to get that keep pretty much no matter what.
They're rotating up to try and contest this.
They have to. But look at the root. Look how much zoning it does. ZPs actually can't go in. It's delaying his entry. Now Emerald Wind goes down, but it's a little bit preemptive. Yeah, they're out of position. KO immediately backing up here. Look at this. He goes for Syracuse right away, but he can't interrupt that. The positioning on this Ravenous Spirit is actually huge. It's getting so much damage, but doesn't matter. The Tranquility is actually, like I said earlier, the Tranquility
it's doing negating
the Ravenous pretty efficiently here. And they've lost 2, but they're trading out pretty well. They're going to trade 2 for 2 here. And Arthalon going for ZPs as well. The root's not there. KO Mad Timmy. I mean, they're backing up.
Yeah, the cleanup was actually pretty good from SMG there. The positioning, the way that the fight started out looked all glorious, all glorious. We saw the Emerald Wind was sort of whiffed. It didn't really push anybody out of position.
Oh my goodness, the root is enough to get the kill there on Nazebo as well. So now it's a 4 for 2 in favor of SMG. Yeah. They're gonna get this keep. All keeps down for Glorious.
No bueno. No bueno for Glorious here. They're backing up. Okay, of course they don't have their Kerrigan and Stitches, so they're just gonna wait. Gonna go back and take this golem that was in contest, a minute ago. And it's the safe play.
Everything about that was really interesting. I mean, I just want to say we had the Ravenous here.
Yeah, really Ravenous positioning was telling a lot of the tale for the first half of the fight.
And KO was kind of out of position. KO was like, okay, they're actually backing up. They realized their time is up. Dread saying, no, it's not worth the risk. Get out of there. Yeah. But I like how KO actually phase shift through here. Going in the back line, and then Archon and tried to take out the Ravenous. It was really quite interesting, but he didn't die. He's Tassadar, can get out of almost anything, it seems.
I'm a little shocked at that call.
To just back up?
Yeah.
I'd play safe. Why throw it away?
They had vision of that the Brightwing was still in the middle lane cleaning up creeps.
Yeah, Brightwing can be anywhere at any time, though, so it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but they were still up 2 heroes.
True.
There were still 2 heroes that were down. It seems it's overly cautious for what we're used to seeing out of SMG.
Yep. Usually, you're right.
Usually they like pull the trigger and they commit. So I'm surprised to see that. And in this situation, they're just sort of trading where they could have had a giant advantage. I mean, they still do. Don't get me wrong. They're up 2 levels right now.
If you lost even 2 members there with the underdog bonus, I mean, you put them so close to 20 and you have that 20 advantage. They're saying, look, we grab these mercenary camps. Yeah. We push forward with the 20 advantage, which they will not have for a little while, and we'll just get them.
That's true, but it would have been very, very difficult for Glorious to even pull any fights or pull an advantage in that fight.
Well, the Golem's doing a lot of work there in the top lane, but in the bottom lane, we have a big initiation here. The Root is getting so much value. Ravenous Spirit gets interrupted almost immediately. The Emerald Wind gets Dreadnought very low and keeps them pushed back a little bit. Wow, Dread actually backs up. He's going to live here. I mean, Tranquility, once again, it cannot be interrupted. It's getting so much use. Panda Pal's trying to stop them here, but the stun from Stitches actually hits all 3 of them. Kills here in the front line, kills in the back, kills everywhere. SMG
that's an ace.
Aces!
And that's going to be the end of the game. I was about to give a lot of credit to Relentless there, getting him out of the root in that situation. Things weren't looking good, but it might have been salvageable. There's just, the Ravenous Spirit getting interrupted. They dealt with it immediately. And, I mean, they're up level 20. There's no way. After that, even if they had left 2 people alive, it still would have been over. So, congrats to SMG. They take game 1 on Cursed Hollow over Glorious Gaming.
Kubi. Mad Furion.
Doing work.
Malfurion, a hero that was always kind of like middle of the road for supports. It's always been like...
It kind of still is, to be honest.
Yeah, well, except
SMG's making it work.
But SMG has always been one of the pioneers in our community. They've always been like, well, okay, everyone's struggling with Nazebo.
Right.
And they're just like, we're just going to grab Malfurion. Malfurion, excuse me. Malfurion in this case.
Matt Timmy, he's earned that title.
He has. And he's actually running the Malfurion skin. Blizzard says, oh my goodness, Malfurion's a thing. We need to release the skin now. And they release the Betrayer Malfurion skin in honor of Matt Timmy. And my goodness, he is angry, and he is taking names.
Yeah. And I really like them. Like, they always pick him last because they know that no other team's going to grab him. They don't run Malfurion. So we're talking, he's sort of a middle-of-the-road pick for supports. He still is.
Yeah.
And they're using that to their advantage in all of their drafts. Every single time I've seen them pick Malfurion over the last 2 weeks, it's been the last pick for them.
And you look at this composition, and it's like, well, Rhaegar could work.
Yeah.
Uther could work.
Yep.
They would both be great, but they end up going with... Malfurion.
Actually, I haven't seen much Rhaegar. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's he's kind of fallen off. People have learned to deal with Lust a lot more. With Brightwing being such a common pick, I mean, Emerald Wind is really a direct counter to Bloodlust because you just need to get out and you just pop Emerald Wind and you're good. Yeah. So people have learned to deal with it better. I don't think it's the end of Bloodlust. I certainly think Bloodlust comps
it's a very, very strong ability.
Yeah,
so
or I don't think
we'll see it in the future, I'm sure.
By any means. But that's 1-0.
Yeah, that is 1-0 for SMG. So we'll be moving into game number 2 in just a little bit. We're going to go for a quick break, and we'll see you guys in a few.
Stay tuned.